Hi, Keriann. Yes, Keriann, I'm talking to you, specifically. Happy birthday, bestie. Happy 21st birthday. Time to swallow our retirement money. And for this occasion, I thought that I would finally check out a band that you really enjoy, and I always make fun of you for really enjoying Falling in Reverse. Formed in 2008 by former Escape the Fate singer Ronnie Radke, the band has released 5 studio albums, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to talk about any one-off singles or guest appearances on other stuff or any solo albums or other projects. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be talking about the Ronnie Radke Watch Me mixtape, especially since I don't really want to listen to that in the first place because, spoiler alert, I still don't like Falling in Reverse. But hopefully through this video, I can intelligently articulate why I don't like the group. So to start off, 14 years ago, what was Ronnie Radke and friends up to?
What is your favorite drug, sir?
Methamphetamine, sir!
Their debut album, The Drug in Me Is You, released in 2011 on Epitaph Records. Now, this is the only Falling in Reverse album that I actually heard before doing this project. I remember very clearly in October of 2019, I was tired after cutting my dad's lawn, and I asked a high school friend for an album to listen to, and they said this one. I remember at the time I liked most of the first half of this record, but didn't really like most of the second half. And now, almost 6 years later, I can say that I don't like the entire album. Well, not like entirely, I guess. I don't know if it's nostalgia or anything, but I would say that this is probably the most stomachable Falling in Reverse album. The band plays pretty decently at times, and there are some moments with some potential throughout. I'm thinking of the riffs in the title track, the breakdown in the opener Raised by Wolves, and the several guitar solos throughout the record. The issues come in when adding Ronald Joseph Radke, born December 15th, 1983. Just as a blanket statement for this whole video, my thoughts on Ronnie's vocals and lyricism. I personally don't care for his over-exaggerated, nasally singing that was already dated by 2011. And his growls and screams don't get much better either, especially on tracks like Goodbye Graceful. And, where do I start with the lyrics? I could go with the high school theater levels of drama and self-indulgence like on the aforementioned opener. I could go with the full-on cringe with tracks like Don't Mess with Ouija Boards, which that one kind of speaks for itself. Or I could go with the tracks that have insane levels of ew. Because of course this guy talks weird about women. The most egregious example being my least favorite track, Good Girls, Bad Guys. Is this song supposed to be sexy? Or is it supposed to be funny? Or both? Because to me, it's none of the above. There are also moments in Ronnie's vocals that unintentionally make me laugh, like the glitch effect in the pre-chorus to Sink or Swim. But that's more of a production thing though. Speaking of the production, I don't like that either. It feels quite sanitized and once again, dated, even for the time that it came out. Like, we were years past the debuts of Panic at the Disco and My Chemical Romance, and yet Falling in Reverse really wanted to hone in on this sound. I'd even say the production at some points kind of undermines the playing, which, like I said, at some points on this record is actually pretty good. Like on my favorite track, I'm Not a Vampire, which has some fun sections musically, and the lyrics to this one are more obviously silly, so I'm not too hung up about them, even if there are still some weird lines. But even considering the playing, I don't really care for this album now, and I would say that I don't really recommend it.
Sorry I'm late to the party. Fashionably late, of course.
Revisiting their debut gave me a little bit of false confidence. I thought I would be ready for what the rest of their career had to offer. And then I listened to Fashionably Late. Oh my god, was I wrong. On this album, they take a crack at a bunch of different genres, which is not inherently a bad thing. Hell, my favorite band is Queen. The term genre was basically irrelevant to them. However, where Queen often comfortably sits themselves within any style they want, Falling in Reverse more so abruptly busts down the door. The stylistic switch-ups on this record are incredibly jarring. Outside of the emo post-hardcore stuff you'd expect from the band, we have tracks like the incredibly dated synth pop single Bad Girls Club, to the full-on country closer Drifter, all the way to whatever the hell 8-bit cringe the track Game Over is. None of which fit together at all. Like, the structure of this album is completely out of whack. And that's not even talking about the songs where the genre switches up in the middle of it. There are quite a few tracks here, like the opener Champion, where it'll be mostly what I would expect from the band, and then all of a sudden, Ronnie just stops the entire song to do a rap verse. That's right, we're ribbity rapping here. Aw, yeah. And the worst part is, it's not even like actual interesting rapping. Ronnie goes full on spiritual lyrical miracle on this album. He literally says that, by the way. And he just ends up sounding like Lin-Manuel Miranda in Hamilton if Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't know how to write good bars. All I do is win. Charlie Sheen. TikTok on your head it goes, where it stops who knows, like a carousel. As a matter of fact, let's cut to the chase. Gonna take that spot on the top of the list quick, call it statutory rape? Excusez-moi. What the fuck? And while I'm semi-talking about vocals, I want to do another blanket statement for the whole video. Ronnie Radke's vocal layering is obnoxious as hell to me. I just don't need this style of singing to be layered 3, 4, or 5 times. For this record specifically, I easily go to the title track as an example of this. And if you want to check out the worst offender to everything that I just said about this record, check out my least favorite track, Rolling Stone. Cringy, deep growl rapping. Lyrics that, among other things, have him talking about having white boy swagger, as well as saying, and the game fears me like a motherfucking wife beater. And that line in particular being used as a dubstep drop that I find to be completely ridiculous. And then a weird ass key change to top it all off. Somehow a song that was approved to be released by adults. But yeah, that's Fashionably Late. If I had to pick a favorite track, it's probably Keep Holding On, only for the fact that it's the least offensive. Listening to this album for the first time is an experience that I'm never going to forget. My jaw was in hell like half of the record. What an absolute mess. I strongly do not recommend it.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
I have told you.
Hang on. I haven't recovered from the last album yet. Oh. Okay, I'm fine now. And now we're at Just Like You, which I would say is probably their best record, but it's still not one that I personally would ever go back to. Because after all that was presented on the previous records, I find this one to be relatively boring. Yes, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but there is a Falling in Reverse album that I found to be boring. After the manic episode that was Fashionably Late, the band retreats to their emo post-hardcore sound from their debut, which I'll say again, I don't much care for. Where the opener Chemical Prisoner tries to feel grandiose, I personally find it to be generic. Where tracks like The Bitter End try to come off as dauntless, I find them to be dull. And where the riffs in Die For You are supposed to feel soul-crushing, and more so put me to sleep. All with this hyper-compressed sound that hasn't worked for me yet and still doesn't. Now, just because I say it's boring doesn't mean that this album isn't without insane moments. It would not be a Falling in Reverse album if there wasn't at least one song that's absolutely nuts. And goody for me, there are actually more than one on here. Like the track Sexy Drug, where we return to Ronnie only being able to write cringe lyrics when referring to women. Or the track Get Me Out, where this 30-year-old is singing about being a loner in high school or some kind of school. He just says school, but I assumed it was high school because if it was middle or elementary, then it would have been weirder. However, I will say there is one song on here that was a standout to me in a positive way. The Closer Brother is a piano-led ballad about Ronnie's brother who very unfortunately died in a motorcycle accident. It's nice to hear Ronnie actually be sincere, and the instrumental is okay too. It's definitely my favorite track here, and probably my favorite Falling in Reverse song. However, one decent track does not save an entire record. The vast majority of this record, to me, is pretty honk shoe, and in some cases, I would even go as far as to say, me. I don't really recommend it.
And now, pigs in space!
On previous records, it's been kind of a blurry line between what Ronnie wants people to take seriously. However, on Coming Home, the line is not blurred at all. The opacity is at 100% in telling us that he wants this album to be taken seriously. And in doing that, he just pours all of the melodrama onto this record, which I just cannot take seriously whatsoever, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I still really don't like the vocals. This especially goes for the Closer Departure as well as the track Loser. I can't take his style of singing very seriously, especially when it's coupled with, number two, his lyrics. Whether we're talking about the petty as hell, fuck you and all your friends, or the out of nowhere religious connotations on the track Straight to Hell. But vocals and lyrics are stuff I've talked about before. What else? Well, number three, the tunes here just really don't click with me. I'm thinking of the robot bridge on the opening title track. I'm thinking of the thrash transition on my least favorite track, I'm Bad at Life. And I'm also talking about these stupid la 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 sections. I guess that's another blanket thing for the entire video. The band has a lot of these sections in their songs, whether they're choruses or bridges, where he just goes into la 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 la. And they were annoying on previous records too, but 4 albums deep, it's really getting unbearable. And number 4, what the hell is this whole space rock angle? I don't have anything articulate to say about that point in particular. I just wanted to say that. Sorry if I had the least to say about this record, but the vast majority of this album is just all these overdramatic theatrics that I could see myself liking in high school, but probably not now. If only I didn't listen to the debut in high school and listen to this one instead. Maybe I would have liked the band. Maybe the future could have been different. Who knows? But as for my thoughts on Coming Home in the present, I do not recommend it. Side note, I'm just noticing as I'm about to export this video that I didn't say a favorite track for this record. So for that, I would say the track Broken because I thought that it was relatively fine.
Lil Tay out here on the top of Beverly Hills. I run this beat. Who do you see doing it like Lil Tay? I'm the youngest one doing it.
And finally, 7 years later, Falling in Reverse put out their latest record, Popular Monster, in 2024. A record that consists of newly made songs as well as singles that go as far back as 2019. And it's their worst record. Somehow even worse than Fashionably Late, which I didn't even think was possible. On this record, they fully go in on doing an electronic rap metalcore sound, mixing their usual overproduced riffs with generic hip-hop beats, such as the title track as well as Bad Guy, that I just really can't get into. They're also still taking themselves too seriously, like on the opener Prequel, which is trying its hardest to be grandiose to the max. And once again, we have Ronnie doing the same silly vocals he always does, as well as going back to and intensifying the amount of ridiculous rapping, like on the track No Fear. He has this insistence on rapping fast. I have to rap fast all the time. Freaking fast. Like, what are we at? Eminem clone number 1563, I lost count a long time ago. A lot of times he's rapping so fast that he doesn't really care for what he's actually saying. Like on the track Voices in My Head, where he says kamikaze crash like a suicide. The suicide part is already implied when you said kamikaze crash. Why did you feel the need to repeat it again? Other than getting in the rhyme, because putting something in just to make it rhyme doesn't make it good. We also have a line on my least favorite track, Watch the World Burn, where he says, somebody send me some positive energy. I'm about to go Darth. I'm about to go Disney. Like, I get it. Star Wars is owned by Disney. But when you say, I'm about to go Disney, that just makes me think that you want to be all happy-go-lucky and such Mickey Mouse stuff, which then undermines the implication of saying you're about to be like Darth Vader, as well as him going into discussing culture war politics. Everyone's so sensitive nowadays. Oh, are you offended? They're canceling me! Just imagine if Tom McDonald had ever been to prison, and this is pretty much what it would sound like. There's even a song on here called Trigger Warning. I am not joking. Musically, I know none of the musicians that are on this record were on the previous records, but I just don't care for any of the musicality in this. Whether it's the ugly metal transition on Watch the World Burn, or it's the, at this point, out of nowhere metalcore breakdowns. There's been a bit of an insistence on the other records to also have a lot of these kind of breakdowns, but at this point, it's really getting aggravating. They come in, they do their thing, and then they just get out like nothing happened. Last thing I'll mention is that there are a few extra collaborators on this record. There's the track Ronald that features Tech Nine, who has this ridiculous intro into the song where he's like, rapping fast. I have to rap fast all the time. Freaking fast. He also has the line, sex change could get you caught up in death's range. He pled sane, but really imitating Ed Gain, which could mean a whole host of things. This song also has Slaughter to Prevail vocalist Alex Terrible at the end of it, which his inclusion is pretty terrible. Oh my god, again. We also have country singer Jelly Roll on the song All My Life. Take a guess what vibe they go for. Going into this project, I cannot say that I expected 2 country Falling in Reverse songs. If I had to pick a favorite track from this, it's probably the closing cover of Papa Roach's Last Resort. I don't even like that original song, but the band does try to approach the song in a different way than the original. I don't like the approach they took, but at least they tried something different. I'm tired now. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Again, my least favorite record from them. I strongly do not recommend it. And that's what I have to say about every Falling in Reverse record. If you are not Keriann and you want to check out Falling in Reverse, then I would say check out The Drug in Me Is You. And if you like that, then check out Just Like You. And then nothing else. I don't think there's any reason to check out any of the other stuff other than to laugh at Fashionably Late. Anyways, happy birthday, Keriann. And also, happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there, because this is being released on Father's Day, too. Which I guess that includes Ronnie Radke, because he is a father. So, happy Father's Day, Ronnie. Oh, my